chance again. Liverpool.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully all of you are having a fantastic day wherever you are around the world. And as you can see, the Champions League is back. Yes, we all love a little competition in Europe, of course, but I think we're quite familiar to it, by now, winning it 6 times, of course. And yes, it is our first game in the Champions League this season against Ajax, and this is our match preview show for that. And as you can see, I am joined by a very special guest, and that is Mick from the Cop. Mick, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Finally looking forward to some getting stuff into some Champions League football after a couple of Premier League results that we weren't too happy with in the past couple of weeks. So nice that there'll be a nice change for us, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I know, I remember not so much last season, but the season before, when we were going for the title, the Champions League somehow being a distraction. Until it got to the business end against Bayern Munich and Porto and Barcelona, and I think it could be that again. I do think that it can be an escape route, like you said. Of course, 2 Premier League games. We haven't had the best of results. Especially the last one is especially in the Merseyside derby. But we get to now go away, play a top side in Ajax. Of course, them doing very well, a couple of seasons ago, getting to the semi-finals. Not the same team as what they once were, because of course they are selling their top players for very decent prices, to be fair, and other things like that. So we will be talking about that tonight, and that. So get your comments in. If you have any questions for me or Mick, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But Mick, I'll ask you this straight off the bat. Of course, you mentioned the weekend's results. Merseyside derby, 2-2 draw. Virgil van Dijk's injury as well. It's been a crap couple of days, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Yeah, it's been difficult for me to get over, to be honest. It was all compounded in the one game, the euphoria of winning it after what should have been a Jordan Henderson winner in the 90th minute. Another 90th minute against Everton would have just been icing on the cake, but all the stuff that came before, like the injury to Van Dijk, not getting punished, and then obviously no retrospective punishment either. It's just loads of stuff that we've had a rub of the green maybe in the last 10 years with some decisions going our way in derbies, but this one, it was like they were all just piled into one game, all towards Everton's favour, and it's just with VAR, it's just a mad one. I don't understand it.
I had my say quite a lot over the last couple of days about it. I don't get how Jordan Pickford isn't going to get banned for it, because if VAR actually did its job, at the end of the day, Pickford would end up getting a 3-match ban for a red card. And I personally just don't get why he isn't now going to get a ban, because realistically, like I just said, if things were done correctly, he would be now getting a 3-match ban. And it's the frustrating thing, because it's not like if Van Dijk's walked away from that and now he's going to be playing against Ajax, for example. Now Virgil van Dijk has a tough road ahead of him, with 8 months off. And for Liverpool, in that aspect of things, I know yesterday we were talking yesterday about how the Liverpool cope without Virgil van Dijk, and it's going to be very, very tough for us to even try and maintain the level we have maintained, because realistically we're going to miss the world's best defender, realistically, and now it relies on Joel Matip, Joe Gomez, and Fabinho now until at least January, and that. But in your opinion, what is the best partnership for that? Do you think that Gomez and Matip is the best solution to maybe obviously them two are our centre backs, but maybe do you think Fabinho could be that Virgil van Dijk-esque and commanding that role until we actually get a replacement in January?
I'd happily keep Matip and Gomez back there. Like me and Jay did a podcast on the Cop By podcast today, just talking about this. And for me, if you put Fabinho back there, he can do a job. He surprised me by how good he was against Chelsea and Timo Werner, because he hasn't got that electrifying pace that Van Dijk and Gomez have got to bail him out. But what he has got is good positional and understanding of the game, and those telescopic legs to bail him out. And he's a good option to put back there up until, like you said, maybe January, where we get maybe a stopgap type centre back coming in. But I would like to see Matip and Gomez just basically go, right, we've lost our main guy at the back. Let's form a partnership up until the point that he comes back, and we might not even see him back this year. It's just going to be a case of, like Klopp says, waiting for him while he's in jail, like a good wife. Just absolutely hilarious. But Gomez for me, it's just the injuries. The injury record between both of them isn't great, and I don't think you can rely on them completely. That's the only thing. Every time they're going for a tackle, you're kind of half winsome going, they're going to get injured. So that'll be the only worry for me. But yeah, definitely use that for now, and then maybe use Fabinho and in January try and get a little centre back in as cover.
Yeah, definitely. And well, Doug's in as well. How are you, Doug? Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. It says, could it be worse? We could have a retired 38 goalkeeper, Petr Cech, in our 25-man player in the league squad. Also, happy birthday, Mick. Hope you had a great day. I'm at work, so popping on to say hi. Yes, of course, it was Mick's birthday yesterday. How did your birthday go after?
Yeah, it was all right. It was, I drank a lot just to try and get over the whole debacle, but no, it was good. It would have been great if, like I said, if Henderson would have got that winner and we won the derby, it would have been the perfect birthday gift. But just wasn't to be, unfortunately. Maybe next year.
Yeah, therefore, I know that of course, you mentioned there, Gomez, and that is probably the best solution. In that, I know yesterday I mentioned Dayot Upamecano from RB Leipzig. And I know other people, Klopp apparently has said something about Ben White and a few others as well. Do you think that, in January, I know we got Virgil van Dijk, back in 2018, even before 2018, I think we officially announced him on the 28th of December in 2017, So do you think that, well, even though, at a certain point of, the summer transfer window, it looked like that Liverpool wouldn't be signing anyone at all. Do you think now that potentially Liverpool could go out and spend 40, 50, 60 million on a centre-back? Or do you think we'll be looking for, that Ragnar Klavan type player in just getting, maybe 5-6 million for a defender?
Yeah, like you just said, Upamecano I've watched him a lot. He's only 21. He's going to be an absolute beast. He's already a beast now. He's going to be absolutely crazily good in the future. It would surprise me majorly if we went out and signed someone like him in January. I know we've done it before, like you said, but it would surprise me if we did it again. Like I said, maybe like a Ben White or someone, or Klopp likes to get these names just completely from left field who no one knows about, or they know about them obviously, but players that we haven't been linked with in the press, if you want to say that, the likes of Jota, who we weren't really linked with. We were linked with other players, and then next minute we signed Diego Jota. Just maybe someone like that who Klopp's they'll have extensive scouting lists of players that who could come in and do a job. They'll have probably an over 25 list and maybe a under 25 list, something like that. So I imagine they'll probably go for the over 25 list for now as a stopgap, and then Upamecano in the future, he could, like I said, he could be a beast, and he could replace Van Dijk because he could be that good. And him and Gomez, if you're thinking maybe 2-3 years, if we had those two at the heart of the defence, Jesus Christ, that'd be scarily good.
Yeah, well, to be fair, there's Joe Gomez is 23, Upamecano 21. You're gonna at least get that centre back partnership if they are 100% fit for at least 7-8 years. If they were to both stay at Liverpool, of course. And I know that a lot of people were frustrated. We're not getting a centre half in. In the summer window, I know that I think Ozan Kabak was majorly being mentioned from Schalke. His name now is starting to pop up again, of course, obviously due to Van Dijk's injury and that. But the thing is, I think that what Liverpool need to remember as well, and what not so much Liverpool, but Liverpool fans, is that teams know that Liverpool are in trouble now for a centre half, and they're going to ask top dollar for their players, unless Klopp can and Michael Edwards can find a Takumi Minamino type thing. Nobody knows about a release clause, and then they go in and get them there and then. Apparently the rumor is at the minute, especially with Upamecano, is next summer I believe that he has a way out of his contract, which would be around 40 million euros, which ends up being what, 36, 37 million pounds. So, it's just realistically for January, it's like, how much more do you want to pay more than 40 million euros? Then that's going to be that bracket, unfortunately. But guys, let us know in the comment section down below. Anyway, Unbearables said, just because VVD is out, that don't make us the 5th team below us any better. Just because one man, we need to chill out. Yes, he is a loss, but the Prem will stay with us. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But it is going to be very difficult without Virgil van Dijk now. Mick, like, I know that Jamie Carragher, I think yesterday, said that, now Manchester City are the favourites for the Premier League title now, in his personal opinion. And I thought that was kind of, not respecting Liverpool enough, because, yes, we don't have Virgil van Dijk now for the season, that it looks like the moment. But, it's like Unbearables said there, there's only one player. We're still going to beat, probably, 18 teams out of 19. Out of 20, sorry, this season, at Anfield at least. And it's one of these things that I think that, all right, if we can cope, and be within, 5 points, or even be ahead of Man City, before January, and then we do end up, for example, getting an Upamecano, I think then, the title race is, of course, wide open. But I think Liverpool are, very much in control and at that point, for it being at least that. Could you see that as well, or do you think that Man City will, try and get a little bit ahead, and then Liverpool will have to do catch up?
It's gonna be difficult. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, Carragher, I don't know if Carragher is maybe trying to take the pressure off us. Well, if he's doing that tactic, then bring that more on, because I'm happy with us being underdogs. You can't understate the value of Virgil van Dijk. I know the comment there was saying he's just one man, but he is like the absolute colossus that has brought him, and alongside Alisson, have brought along all this success. It's no coincidence that it coincided with those two arriving. So I think once we get Alisson back in goal, and hopefully he stays injury free, that then makes the whole back five unit a lot better. That's the thing. Like, with Adrian in goal, we're always going to be a bit dodgier, because the defence don't really trust him. You can see that. You can see the way he passes out from the back and stuff. There is a bit of nervousness back there, and they try not to do it as much. You can see that in the Everton game. Once we get Alisson back there, and just God forbid Matip and Gomez stay injury free, then there's no reason why we can't go on an unbeaten run. Like, I know he's one guy, Virgil van Dijk, but he is that good. But without him, we have got a tight knit squad that we can do a job without him. And I just hope that we just need to keep the right players fit. That's the thing. If we keep all the main fellas fit, then we're fine. Like, you look at Man City, like, they're still great, but are they any better than last year? Like, it's going to be definitely tighter than last year for sure. That's guaranteed now with the loss of Van Dijk. But I still think we've got enough. Like, I think I'll happily take being a second favourite. But I do think that we will still nick it. I'll pray anyway.
The fingers crossed, absolutely. But yeah, I absolutely get what you mean. And look, at the end of the day, Liverpool, we managed to improve from, the 97-point season. We got 99 points. And, I personally don't think, there's that much of a drop off from our squad to City's. Now, I know I spoke yesterday, with, I can't remember who I spoke to, but they were saying about, they were on about Fernandinho and that. I personally think Fabinho is a better defender than Fernandinho, because I think many people to forget, Fabinho was Monaco's centre-back for a very long time, until he moved to right back, and then he moved to defensive midfielder. So, Fabinho, he knows that role, quite well. Unlike Fernandinho, that was, just put into it, and then that gap then for Manchester City, which is left, because, with us, I feel like Jordan Henderson can do as good a job at the defensive midfield spot than Fabinho, even probably better in some, aspects. But, I think as well with us, if Jordan Henderson is out as well, that is a bigger issue than the centre-back role, because as we saw against Aston Villa, no Jordan Henderson, we end up getting thumped, 7-2. Even though, the 3 lucky goals or whatever, but still, it was a thumping at the end of the day, and there's no intensity there. But the thing is, for me, it's like, hopefully that whoever, does play alongside Gomez, because I think Gomez is the number 2 centre-back at the club. It's just now who can take the control and who can take the reins off Virgil van Dijk for now, and then we'll see that as well. But Unbearables says, I bet before Christmas we see a centre-back pairing of James Milner and Fabinho. I know that, but I think a couple of people even mentioning Gini Wijnaldum could play centre-half for Liverpool this season as well. Do you see that, Mick, as well? Do you see, Gini being a dominant role in defence, or do you think it'll just be a one-off or, a couple of game type thing?
Yeah, I think he probably could do a job as a stopgap, like not in the same way Fabinho's a stopgap, because like you said, Fabinho's played the role, he's played fullback, he's more overall positionally better, maybe more tactically aware in those type of positions. Gini, I think didn't he play centre back one game for us?
Yeah, it was Brighton away. I think when we had all our centre backs injured or suspended.
Yeah, so it's a nice option to have. I mean, I wouldn't bank on it long term, but like we've got a huge array of midfielders, so the more we can get to play back there, the better. like you said, in the holding role, Thiago can do that, and he's just absolutely terrific. So he'll be back soon. Thankfully, his injury wasn't too bad. He might be back hopefully for the Sheffield United game. But like we said, we've got loads of midfielders. So if Fabinho can do it, if Wijnaldum can do it, then between those two and Gomez and Matip, then we should have enough to get by until if we do sign someone in the window in January.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Thiago, as I got the graphic there, Thiago and Joel Matip. There is news concerning both of these men. If I can get it up on your screens right now. Anyway, let me make that bigger for you guys. Of course, James Pearce, the good old reliable James Pearce, said no Matip or Thiago in training at Melwood today. Fabinho set to start at centre-back alongside Joe Gomez versus Ajax centre-backs, Nat Phillips and Reece Williams set to travel as part of the squad as well, which will be very good experience for them lads, because of course, especially Reece Williams already playing this season against Lincoln City, for example. But the one thing that I didn't know until this morning, funny enough, was that Liverpool will be able to use 5 substitutes in this game, and we'll have like an availability, I think, a 12-player bench. As well, the Champions League and UEFA have carried on from last season anyway. Mick, it's probably a headache for Klopp just thinking about, just playing 3 players off the bench, let alone thinking of another, 2 to maybe put on the pitch as well. Do you think that he will use all 5 this year in the Champions League, or do you think that, I know many people, they criticize Klopp about using substitutes and that, but do you think that he won't use all 5 and just stay with like the 3 that he normally uses in the Premier League?
I think he might use more than 3, because I think beginning of this season, I think they were originally going to do the 5 subs in the Premier League, when at the end and they took it away. And I think he was one of the managers who said he wasn't very happy with it because he wanted people to be fresher. So I imagine he'll take advantage of it. Like we've got this, like we touched on the squad, we've got the likes of Minamino and players like that who aren't really getting a sniff at the moment. So in these type of games, they've got more chance of coming onto the field and making more of an impact.
Yeah, definitely. And I know what you said there about keeping the squad fresh. I know that Liverpool and Klopp especially, and all the neurologists and things, I guess, they all look at trying to keep every single Liverpool player fit. And I think that is, a key to Liverpool's side, because I remember back in, when I think I believe it was Klopp's first full season, we're playing amazing football in I think 16-17, up until Christmas, and then January, then when, the tough period ended up coming, I think Klopp then found out how tough Premier League football is. And, I don't think he didn't expect, how much of a drop off Liverpool would have had. And then, to be fair to him, ever since, then, he's managed to keep, the players fit, because I know many people were, furious a couple of years ago about, I think Dominic Solanke starting a Merseyside derby instead of Bobby Firmino, but, Bobby Firmino needed a rest. And even though, Dominic Solanke, we all know what happened then, but at the end of the day, he was the fit and available striker as well. Do you think that there's any player in particular in this game that, should be rested, or, do you think that should be swapped at all?
It wouldn't surprise me if Bobby was rested, to be honest. Like I said, there's Minamino and there's Jota. Like if you compare and contrast what you've just touched on there, having Solanke in reserve, and now we've got Diego Jota, who's a proven Premier League player, and the Minamino, whose form when he's been given a chance has been great. So to have those two in reserve, definitely, I think Minamino would probably be best in that role for me, because it wouldn't disrupt the other two fellas, Mane and Salah. They could stay where they are. I don't think Jota is probably. He's more of a left winger or right winger at the moment, isn't he? Before maybe he's going to learn the Bobby role in the future. But Minamino seems to have got that role down pretty well, dropping into the holes and feeding the wide men, especially in the cup games we've seen him. And he's been great for me. The work rate and the closing down, the quality on the ball has gone up tenfold compared to what he was showing last year. Like there was little tricks and turns that we seen against us for Salzburg weren't present in his early days, and you can see in those games, in the cup games where he picks it up, and you can see he's got an eye for the pass, and he's sharp and quick, and he keeps the ball ticking over. So for me, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Minamino start. I'd be happy with that, because Bobby hasn't. It's hard to judge Bobby because we don't judge him on his goals, because he does so much other stuff for the team and creating space and stuff, and you get a lot of grief for it from rival fans. But I do hope Bobby starts though, just because I think it's a great chance for him to grab a goal, and he loves an away goal. Doesn't like scoring at Anfield, does he? So a nice little away goal for him. But yeah, he looks like he might need a rest. Maybe start him in this one and then bring him off, and then try and keep him a bit more fresh for Saturday, because we need to definitely get 3 points on the board in the Prem.
Yeah, definitely. And I know, maybe looking towards the weekend, of course, like you said, maybe try and keep him for that game, especially against Sheffield, which, they haven't had the best of starts, this season anyway. But, let's talk a little bit about Ajax, of course, because, I think this is the first time Liverpool have played Ajax since, I believe, 1966, competitive-wise, which, when I read that stat, I thought, Jesus Christ, that's a very long time for two European giants to, not play each other realistically. And, I said at the top of the show, Ajax, they had that fantastic run, a couple of seasons ago, getting to the semi-finals, should have realistically been Liverpool versus Ajax in the Champions League final, and that. And, of course, they've sold, De Ligt, they've sold Ziyech, they've sold, many more, even Frankie de Jong as well to Barcelona, and other people as well. And, they're currently under a rebuild stage. Mick, like, how do you see Ajax, competing in this game? Do you think that they'll, bring the attack to us, or do you think that, they'll try and, sit back and see what Liverpool are going to try and do?
I don't know if Ajax have got any other way than just play their style of football and try and impose themselves on us. I mean, like you said, they've been at the top of the show. You said they're a bit more of a selling club recently, and they have sold quite a lot of good players, really, but they've still got some good quality in there. They've got like the Blind and Neres and Tadic and Promise. They've got some tricky players in there who can cause us some damage if we're not on our A game. So I imagine they'll want to show some of that flair and attack and creativity early on, and I think this type of game will play into our hands, because, like I said, we've lost heavily to Villa 7-2, and then we didn't quite get over the line against Everton, which we should have. This could be the perfect opposition who are going to set up in a way where we can dismantle them if we're on our top form. And I think we need a game where we blow someone away like 3-0 and just go, right, this is where we kick on, and this is where we kick on without Van Dijk, and then welcoming Alisson back into the fold over the next couple of weeks, and we can just maintain the form. And I think that hopefully that's the way it'll go.
Yeah, hopefully. And you mentioned one player that Quincy Promes. I think he's probably the biggest threat. I know that a couple of people that I've spoken to have said that he's done well in Spain. He's went to Holland, which was a bit of a shock, because I think he was doing that well in Spain, and everyone thought that he could be getting a Premier League move, or a move to a decently big club. But Ajax, to be fair, they are a very big club. I know that some people don't rate the Eredivisie and things, I guess, but in Champions League terms, Ajax are among the greats. They have won 4 European Cups. Don't take that or anything away from them. And of course, Tadic as well. Tadic as well and Sadio Mane, they know each other very well. Of course, both being at Southampton beforehand, and I think that it's like we said, Ajax, they're not the Giants what they used to be, and they're probably not going to win the Champions League, of course, but it's the fact that everyone deserves. If you are in the Champions League, you deserve to be there. No matter what, and every single game is a tough game. But I also agree with what you said in saying Liverpool should go out and destroy Ajax 3-0, 4-0, or 4-1 or something like this, and try and put out a statement. And I think when Phil Coutinho left, a couple of years ago, and Klopp took that, group of players, I think they went to France because we got knocked out of the FA Cup, and he sat all of them down and went, okay, like this is the group now, we're going to go and try and win, the Champions League. Unfortunately, it didn't happen in Kiev, but, it was just that mentality thing of keeping on going and keeping on, fighting. And I think, do you think he's already done that, after Van Dijk's injury? I think Gini said in the press conference, the squad's been a bit down, without Virgil being there. Do you think that, Klopp sat all of them down and gone, look, guys, this is, our squad now, we are going to go and try and challenge for the two competitions that we want to win?
I imagine so. Like you said, Gini was telling in the press conference saying how down they were and how down the players were. And you can imagine they've all had a little chat about it and discussed about how they're going to move forward, because everyone knows, like, if we're going to feel the Van Dijk's missing from the back, they're all going to feel it as well. Like, as players, like, they're not going to be as confident, because if you play alongside Van Dijk, you'd be like, well, if we don't clean it up, he will, because he's that good. So without that like safety blanket back there, you have to up your game even 5-10% just to counterbalance that. So I imagine Klopp has done something like that, where he's like, well, let's go and make a statement that we don't need. Well, we do need Van Dijk, but like we can win games of football without the best centre back in the world. And what better place to do it than Ajax, who, good, like you said, a great pedigree and great team. And if we play to our ultimate strengths tomorrow, then we should blow them away, and I think we will.
Yeah, absolutely. And Unbearable said James Milner, if he took up centre back role, he would get more game time. True, that is true. But I think James Milner should just stick to maybe centre midfield and maybe right back or left back sometimes, maybe. But we probably don't need that now, because of course we've got Neco Williams on the right, and we've got Kostas Tsimikas as well on the left hand side as well. Also as well, Unbearables has gone for 3-1 win to Liverpool, I guess anyway. But I'll get starting 11 predictions in a minute, but I know that we've said about how Liverpool are going to do and things like this as well. And for me, like the shock thing very much with this season for Liverpool in the sense is like, will Klopp go very much rotational in the Champions League, looking at our group in a sense? I know that it's debatable to think who's the second best team in the group. Is it Ajax? Is it Atlanta? I know Atlanta, they have a phenomenal attack, and that was shown last season in the Champions League. But defensively, they are probably the poorest in the group, I would probably say. Even though Midtjylland, I know that everyone thinks Midtjylland is probably the worst team in the group, but they are a decent team. Of course I had to look a little bit into them, obviously because of the Champions League and that, but they are gonna give everyone a tough task then, because it kind of like what Liverpool had to put up with, not last season, but in Red Star Belgrade. They're not the team that's going to challenge everyone, but they are going to cause you a pain. They're going to be a pain in your ass then, really. And I think that is what all the teams are in this group. I think we will comfortably win the group. Hopefully we get 6 wins out of 6. That's the hopeful thing. But Mick, do you think the same for that as well? Do you think 6 wins out of 6 is possible and get through the group unscathed then, really?
Yeah, I think we've not done it easily recently, have we? And we've always had a history of doing it the hard way. You think of the road to Istanbul, having to beat Olympiacos by 3-1 after going 1-0 down. But yeah, I think this time, when the draw came out, I was quite happy. Like, apart from Ajax, like you said, Atlanta, they're good going forward, but they'll come to us and try and play their A game. Like I don't even know how you call them. Midtjylland.
Yeah, Midtjylland. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I've been calling them Midgetland just to bypass it. But yeah, I think they'll be the only ones who'll try and shut up shop and try and nab a little counter attack. I imagine that Atalanta and Ajax will be like, well, let's just play our game. If we get beat, we get beat. If they play defensively, it's going against their whole philosophy, and they'll probably concede one anyway. So they'll probably come with the mantra of, well, let's try and play. And if we catch them on a Aston Villa type day, we might get lucky and get a result. So, like you said, I think 6 wins it's not big talk because we are Premier League champions and we are one of the best teams in the world. So I imagine most fans around the world will expect that. But I think if we rotate the squad wisely, try and keep everyone fit, like we said, we've got a quite loaded schedule coming up, like in the next couple of months. So we need to make sure we're doing that properly. I think that's why he hasn't took Thiago or Matip to Amsterdam tomorrow, just to make sure that we're ready for that game on Saturday. So I imagine we'll see a lot more of that, and I imagine we'll see a lot more of maybe Curtis Jones and Minamino and Jota in the coming weeks as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd love Curtis Jones to play in this game. I'd absolutely love him to get the Champions League vibes, because I don't believe he's played in the Champions League yet or been involved in the Liverpool squad for the Champions League as far as I can remember. Could be wrong about it. If I am wrong, then please let me know in the comment section down below. But I know that Klopp's given opportunities to Ryan Brewster. Of course, in the Champions League final he got a medal. I know that. And I think when Liverpool are safe, because I think we will. It's like Mick said. I know that Liverpool, we haven't always liked to qualify nicely in the Champions League. I know that we've always, well, especially under Klopp anyway, we've always qualified on the last game or the last group game of the Champions League, and it's always that nail biting thing. You panic through the whole day, and then it's like, what happens if we do end up going into Europa League? And it's like, oh no, not the Europa League, not Thursday night football, please. But I don't want to be like Manchester United this season. I don't want to be on the couch on Tuesday and Wednesday nights enjoying the Champions League. I want to be in the nit and grit of that. And as we're doing this right now, I believe Manchester United are playing PSG. Hopefully PSG are destroying them right now. Hopefully that's the finger crossed thing. But I'll ask you this, Mick. You talked about selection, about Jota, Minamino, and that. I know that Klopp's forte is 4-3-3. Especially in the Premier League and in the Champions League, over the last couple of years. Do you think, now with, injuries being a thing for Liverpool at the moment, do you think that 4-2-3-1 could be the Champions League formation and try and be the system, and then we refer back to, the Champions League, the Premier League 4-3-3, or, do you think that's a possibility, or do you think that, Klopp will, try and, stay with the formidable 4-3-3?
I imagine we'll see a lot of variation because, like I said, we're quite stacked in midfield, so it does make sense to throw 2 in front of the back 4, especially with the loss of Alex, so it'll give us a bit more cover there as well. So if you have Matip and Gomez back there, you threw a Fabinho and a Thiago in front of the back 4, or a Henderson, or a Keita or Wijnaldum, or Milner. You could literally use any of them really there, as long as they were in a 2. You'd feel more comfortable with that balance rather than a 1, because I think if it's a 1 there, you need a more specialised player in there, like a Fabinho or a Henderson, who's learned that role, who knows the right positions to take up to counterbalance and maybe a counter attack. So having the 2 in there would be helpful in maybe in the bigger games as well, to try and stem the flow of maybe oncoming attacks. But I think the likes of Minamino, the likes of Curtis Jones, Jota, there's going to be plenty of chances. It's quite sad really that Harvey Elliott went out on loan, because I think in a weird way Van Dijk getting injured and maybe a switch of formation might have given him a few appearances this year, which is just quite weird when you think a loss of a centre back could give a 17-year-old right winger some opportunities. But it could be that way, and I imagine Klopp might tailor the system quite often with based on opponents. I imagine we'll see maybe some of the 2s in front of the back 4, which would be nice to see. I think, like, if imagine Fabinho and Thiago in front of the back 4, and then having Henderson and just ahead of them or whatever, or it's literally there's so many interchangeable players in this system that Klopp's brought in purely for that reason, because they are interchangeable. That's why it's so exciting. You could see anyone anywhere, and if Klopp puts them in a system and go, well, you can interchange at will. If they're doing that on a whim, then how the opposition going to keep up with it unless you lead and you literally man mark? I don't know how it's going to work, but it is exciting to the amount of options we've got, and it'll be interesting to see how he employs them going forward.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, just saying Thiago Alcantara as a Liverpool player, just it's so nice to say. It's really literally like I've said that it brings a smile to mine and your face. It's just brilliant. And I don't think we've had that in. We might never have had it. A world class. Probably the best in their position. Coming to Liverpool as far as I can remember. Anyway, I know that people might go. Well, Alisson maybe, but Alisson wasn't the best in his position. He was mentioned in being one of the best, but not the best. And I know people will tear between Thiago and Kevin De Bruyne, but for me, I think where the positions are, I think Thiago is the best in his position, without a doubt, in my personal opinion. But guys, let us know your thoughts anyway in the comment section down below. Liz is in saying, hiya, how are you, Liz? Hopefully on a fantastic day. Mark says, hi, people listening and lurking. Hello, Mark. Hopefully on a fantastic day, mate. Liz says hi to Mark as well. Mark saying hi to Liz. Liz says, it's okay, just finished. Oh, I missed the comment. It's okay, just finished application for I'm having Friday. Oh, really? Liz, let me know. Nick says Liverpool wins with 4-1 from Ajax. I'd love that. I would love that. Scoreline, to be fair. Mark say with Liz. Liz says Jones played against Gink and then United are 1-0 up. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's not what we want to hear. But yeah, I'm surprised. I completely forgot that he played against Gink. If that's true, fair play to Curtis Jones. Mark says still take it easy. I think that was with Liz. I think Liz saying thanks. I will as well. But yeah, guys, let us know your starting 11 prediction anyway in the comment section down below. But Mark, I'll ask you this: what would be your starting 11 prediction for Liverpool tomorrow evening?
Well, I've done a podcast with Jay earlier, and it was just before the whole Thiago and Matip thing came out, so I think I picked both. Well, I picked Matip in my starting 11 there, so I think I got Adrian, Trent, Fabinho, Gomez, Robbo. I think I'd go. I don't know. I'm torn between Keita and Gini. Henderson. Where am I going actually? Actually, no. Fabinho at the back with Gomez, Trent, Robbo. I'll go Hendo and Keita and Wijnaldum, and then the usual suspects up front.
Ooh, very interesting team. If I can get mine up on screen right now, is that the right one? Yeah, there it is. There's my team. Anyway, that I've gone for. I've got Adrian in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Fabinho, Andy Robertson. I've gone with the Brexit midfield. I think if people want to call it the Brexit midfield still, Jordan Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum, James Milner, of course, Mr. Reliable James Milner, and then of course the front three. Bobby Firmino, Mo Salah, and Sadio Mane as well. But I did make another formation for you guys to maybe look at, and we talked about 4-2-3-1 and rotation, and I was stuck between two squads. I'm not going to lie, and this was the second squad that I come up with. So same back five, but we'd play Henderson and Gini Wijnaldum as defensive midfielders. Takumi Minamino playing in the 10 role with Jota on the left hand side. Sadio Mane on the right and Mo Salah up top. I think that could be an option, but it's all depending if Bobby Firmino was to be rested, because I know a couple of people have said they would like Bobby to be rested. They'd like him to have that opportunity, to charge his batteries down and then charge them up, in time for more important games. If Bobby was to miss out, do you think that would be the starting 11, Mick?
I imagine so. Yeah, that one looks good with Minamino up there. That looks. That's me. There's so many options that it's you could mess with it 4 or 5 times in different scenarios, different players, and you'd still think that's a good team. And that's what Klopp's built, and that's why I think that's what we sometimes forget about how good he's made this squad. I think our strength and depth isn't given enough credit really, because we can literally throw maybe 4 or 5 formations up there with different players in different positions, and you still think that win against most teams in the Premier League and most teams in the Champions League. And I think that's Klopp probably doesn't get enough credit for that. But if Jota and Minamino started tomorrow, I'd be absolutely made up, because it's away to Ajax. It's a good test. It'd be good for them maybe to Jota to get another goal, or Minamino to get another goal, stuff like that. It's just getting minutes in the legs, really, because they haven't had as much, and both won't be happy with just sitting on the bench. They want to come on and make more of an impact earlier in the game. So if they started and got maybe a good 60 minutes or 70 minutes starting the game rather than actually coming on, but it would be better, and it's more beneficial for us in the long run, because we're going to have to rely on them a lot more in the coming games.
Yeah, definitely. And Minamino, he's probably known to the Champions League by now, because of course that incredible performances for Salzburg last season, and that was the thing last year, wasn't it? It was Liverpool had Salzburg and others in their group, and that, and in particular for Salzburg, it was all about who's going to take the main two, who's going to take Minamino, who's going to take Haaland, and now we know Haaland's become one of, if not the best strikers in European football. Minamino, not so much, because of course he is behind the likes of the front three, for example. But I think if you watch Minamino when he does play or does have some sort of reaction towards a game, you can see there's like little hints of brilliance there. Especially, I know that he didn't score, of course, in the Capital One Cup, or the League Cup, whatever you want to pronounce it. Game against Arsenal. He was probably Liverpool's best player at times, and I think that if, for example, I don't want it to happen, of course, but if for example, Bobby Firmino got injured, for example, or was out of Klopp's mind for a couple of games, and that, for me, it's not so much a step down from Minamino to Bobby Firmino. Of course, there is the skill gap is massive compared to the two, but in terms of system wise, I don't think there is much difference between both Minamino and Bobby Firmino, if you want to say it like that as well. But guys, let us know your thoughts anyway in the comments. Liz says it was a penalty by Bruno. Man United penalties, just even in Europe, they love giving them penalties. Liz goes James freaking Milner. Of course, Liz does love a bit of James Milner. Like, who doesn't? To be fair, who doesn't love James Milner? Liz goes, Hendo will want a goal tomorrow after being robbed. Yeah, he would love a goal. Every time Henderson and goal now is mentioned, my mind just goes boom, just completely down for the Merseyside derby. Jeannie's in going, hello, how is everyone doing? Doing fantastic, mate. Hopefully having a fantastic day. Liz says as well, there's so much diving in the PSG versus Manx match. It's like the Summer Olympics. To be fair, look, the both of them, they're both filled up a friggin', I don't want to say drama queens, but that is what Neymar is, and Man United have Martial and Rashford that will try and get a penalty. Bruno Fernandes dives every time someone sneezes on him, or even looks at him. It's quite funny, isn't it? But I'll ask you this, Mick, a bit quick. Not being so much biased, I know we'll all say Liverpool are going to go the furthest in the Champions League, but out of all the English teams, who do you think will probably do the best this season in Europe?
Well, the easy answer is
could just go easy and go Liverpool.
No, it's difficult, isn't it? Because it's going to be quick games in quick succession with this condensed season, so it's gonna be tricky. But I imagine Man United will probably do all right. I mean, if their group, they've got PSG today. We also got in their group PSG,
RB Leipzig, and they've got some other random team.
Well, even between those two, they could easily go out there, to be honest, with Leipzig and PSG, couldn't they? I'm going to pick the easy answer, go Liverpool, but I imagine that most of them will get out the group. I just hope that Liverpool can go that one step further, and like you said, use this competition as a platform for proven how good we are, how good we can be without Virgil at the back.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, I'm obviously going to go the easy answer. Liverpool obviously going to at least get semi-final, final, might even win it. Who knows? Might do a double. Might do it. But yeah, for me, look, I think Man City are going to do the best out of all the rest of the English teams, but it'll only be another quarter-final for Manchester City. It won't be, semi-final, final. They'll do the same old thing. They'll overlook, whoever they face, and they'll get knocked out again. And Pep Guardiola will be the fraud that we all know him for, and things like this. Even though I know that a couple of people will get angry by that, especially a couple of City fans. But who cares? To be fair, but I'll ask you this then, Mick. Well, Liz said divas. They are divas. To be fair, especially Bruno Fernandes and others. But I'll ask you this then: what would be your score prediction for tomorrow's game?
I'm hoping we're going to keep a clean sheet because it feels like a long time. I can't even. I'm trying to think, when was the last time we kept a clean sheet?
Good question.
Feels like years for me. I don't know why. I'm hoping tomorrow's going to be the day where we do, and Adrian gets a bit of confidence. The back four get a bit of confidence, and hopefully see Minamino get one. I'm going to go for 3-0. 3-0.
I think Liverpool's last Champions League clean sheet was against Salzburg last year. I think that was the last Champions League one. Overall one, do you include Arsenal in the League Cup?
Oh yeah, maybe, yeah, I suppose. You do, yeah.
It's like technicality, yeah, we do kind of accept it.
Oh,
but
I found it. It was Chelsea, 2-0.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah, we drew again.
Feels like ages ago, that doesn't it?
Like 3 weeks ago, we had everyone. We had Thiago, we had Van Dijk, we had Alisson, and within the space of 3 weeks, the three of them are either injured or coming back. It's so bad. But yeah, so what was your prediction again?
Gonna go 3-0.
3-0. 3-0. I'd like to give us a clean sheet. You know what? I'm going to give us a clean sheet. I'm going to go 2-0. I think give Adrian that boost. Give Fabinho and Gomez that boost of keeping a clean sheet away, especially away as well. At the is it the Cruyff Arena? I think that's what it's Johan Cruyff Arena. I think that's what their ground's called.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so
Johan Cruyff Arena, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we can go there, get a clean sheet, and come home with all 3 points, and hopefully top the group as well. Because of course, Atlanta, they play Midtjylland as well. Probably going to be an Atlanta win, but then if Midtjylland get the win there, then that would open the group up completely. Especially. Who gets second realistically. I was going to say second and third then, but of course third going to Europa League. And now we don't want Europa League football. We had that, from like 2010 to 2015. We don't need it anymore. Champions League football is here to stay. Fingers crossed anyway. But let me read a few more of your comments out then. Kale's says, who's winning the Chelsea match? I believe, as Liz said, it's 0-0. Mark's gone for 3. Mark's gone for 3-1. Liverpool win. Liz says 2-0 to Lazio over Dortmund as well. Also goes 4-1 to Liverpool tomorrow. And Jeannie's gone for a 3-1 to Liverpool. I think pretty much everyone is going for 3-1. So fingers crossed that is the case anyway. But we're going to leave it there, guys, for tonight's match preview show. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in, liked, and shared and subscribed. As always, thank you to all the usual people for doing that as well. But Mark, thank you so much for coming on. Where can we find you, mate, on the socials?
So you can find me on the Copite Podcast. If you just search on YouTube, Copite Podcast, search for the Copite Off on Twitter, or you can find my personal Twitter, which is MickLFC, but the I is a 1, so M1CKLFC. I need to change that, really, just put Mick around, so I'm easy to find, but I haven't got around to it yet. I'll do it one day.
It's like one of those like just like when that was like the thing back in like what 2018, 2019, like just the numbers and letters. But of course,
Well,
guys, all the links are in the video description anyway. What was
yeah,
you gonna say?
yeah. It's because I was looking on my Twitter the other day how long I've been on Twitter, and it's 11 years. So it was what 2009 that I made it. So it does fit in with the old letters and numbers all jumbled up and that.
Yeah, that is true. To be fair, like Jesus Christ, like when we think about it, Twitter's been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
A very, very long time. It's weird how things work out, isn't it? But yeah, guys, of course, please go and follow the Cop Bite on on everything, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as well. Please go and give them a subscribe. All the links are in the video description down below. If I've remembered to put them in, I think I have. So fingers crossed, I have done that very much. But yeah, thank you to everyone that has tuned in to tonight's stream. Also, as well, if you could do me the massive favor, please like, share, and subscribe as always. Don't forget to enable notifications because YouTube hate notifications for some weird reason, even though it's a part of this system or whatever. YouTube's just a messy place. But till next time, guys, that is going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. We will all see you all later on. Try it.